Welcome, everybody, to the March 2026 episode of DoD Dialogues.
Yes, welcome.
I'm Jim Powell, the owner of CrossFit Doors of Daring here in Waxhaw, North Carolina, and I'm joined by Courtney Barber, also an owner of Doors of Daring and our amazing head coach here at DoD. We got several topics to cover today. Some of them come from our members. We got that little box over there where people have been putting in questions for the Ask Me Anything. We've got a lot of questions. But some of these topics are sort of top of mind, just given the time of year and the season we're in. So we'll dive into those in a couple minutes. Yeah. But Courtney, let's start where we always start.
Yeah.
Did you get any fitness in today?
Not today, Jim.
Oh, rest day?
Today's our rest day. Much needed rest day. I did my open workout Friday morning, and with where I am right now in my fitness journey, your girl needed a couple days. I did run around with my kids a lot today.
Oh, cool.
And that kind of flushed out the legs. It's so beautiful outside. So
that's an amazing day.
My legs are feeling better now. But this morning, it was not happening.
Understood.
Happening.
Understood.
Yeah, how about you, Jim?
Well, today was my day to get 26.1 in. Maybe you can tell from my voice, but I'm not really feeling my best.
Yeah.
And so I had to wait. I couldn't do it yesterday. Today, I gave it all I got. It was, good enough for being sick. So I'm proud of my effort. Yeah. But I do want to tell a little bit of story about today. My daughter, who I've talked about on the podcast before, we have quite a few open moments that we've shared, and she's in town, and she was here with her boyfriend today. So they came in a little bit before open gym, and this kid...
he's not a CrossFitter.
Yeah, this kid is not a CrossFitter. He's 22, 23. He's a very tall dude. He's fit.
Yeah.
And he jumps right in.
Let's go.
Did 26.1 as his first ever CrossFit workout. And here's the kicker. He gets judged by me, right? Can you imagine? This is your girlfriend's dad literally judging you.
With a clipboard. Squat depth.
He was great. I mean, showed a ton of character and grit, and he did a great job, man. Yeah. So they're going to be at Friday Night Lights in 2 weeks. So if y'all see Big Tall Ben with my daughter, you pat him on the back and tell him he did a great job.
Do you think he'll do
26.1.
the workout?
I hope he will.
Yeah,
I hope he will.
You should just sign up, do the whole thing at this point. Let's go.
That was a great showing. That was
cool.
Awesome. Super proud of him.
And shows that CrossFit can be for everybody.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, just jump in with both feet, and he did a great job. I was super proud of his effort, and I know Ariana was too, so it was a cool moment.
That's cool.
Well, cool. I thought maybe today we'd start off with a recap of Fittest of the Coast.
Yeah.
We had a lot of members go down and compete in Charleston. 10 members in all. I think at one point there were over 30 people from Doors of Daring there in the Coliseum.
Lots of people too who didn't even have family members or anything there. Yeah. Just people that traveled just to watch and cheer. Just cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. So I thought maybe we'd give all the members a little bit of a sneak peek inside what it was like at Fittest of the Coast. I don't know if you want to start off and talk about maybe the event overall.
Yeah, I mean, so it's a competition in Charleston. We've been going to as a gym, sending athletes to now for a bunch of years. It's grown a ton, but we love it because it's very well run, super professional, really fun, challenging, online qualifier that we have a ton of people participate in. And then the in-person event is just really, really great to bring families to, and for our gym to just, really kind of embody that community outside of this space. And so it's great. We had a lot of teens that competed. We had three teams that were there. And I guess I can start, maybe I'll talk about our teens, right?
Yeah, cool.
So just kind of going in order, I'll talk about our oldest teen first. So that's Anna Toomey. She was there. This is, I think, her third year of qualifying and doing Fittest of the Coast. And she placed sixth out of a really competitive upper level teen group. I think they go to 18
That's
years
right.
old in her division, which is, I mean, those are grown women and they're very fit. So Anna held her own. She got a third place finish in one of the events, and her double unders were just incredible, and she showed a lot of grit throughout that whole competition. So she's got her sights set on a really competitive open and games season. So I think that was good prep for her. And then I'll just follow up. So her sister Claire was there and did awesome. Had a really strong, they had a lifting complex that was 3 deadlifts, 2 hang cleans, and a jerk in that event. And Claire, who is 14, hit 155 on that complex.
Wow.
As not a terribly big athlete, you know, and it's just so impressive what she's able to lift and put up, and makes it look so easy and has so much fun doing it, you know. And then we had Marlon. This is his first time ever really doing a qualifier competition, a big competition like this. He's come so far.
Yeah.
This past year. I mean, he went from doing JV classes and, you know, he would love me saying this, kind of goofing around, kind of whatever, to like, hey, I want to do this a little bit. He did the community cup. Then he's, you know, kind of gotten serious in class about his gymnastic skills, because he has a stronger, more kind of leaning towards those strengths kids. But he did great. He hit 195 on that complex in the 14, 15 division.
Took first in that event.
Took first in that event. That was massive. And he, you know, when he was in here prepping for that, I don't think he was anywhere close to 195. So it was just that like competition vibes really hyped him up, and he hit a huge number. And then Zeke Steffler podiumed. Huge weekend for him. Was 3rd place overall in that division, that younger teen division. He also hit a really good lift, which has always been something that he's had to work really hard on. But he, I think, took first place in the double under overhead squat lunge workout.
That's right. Yeah.
And double unders he's come really far with double unders too. That's been a really work in progress for him. So to see him crush some workouts that really aren't his strengths, and then like totally shine on the workouts that he knew he could, that was really cool. And then he got to stand on the podium for the first time at an event like that, which is so cool.
Yeah, so proud of him.
Yeah.
It was really good effort from him all weekend.
Cool.
It was amazing to see all of our teens compete, and it was just cool to see really all the families just being very supportive of all of the athletes compete. It was really nice to see, just good community event.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of families, let's talk about the family event. You know, one of our teams that competed, their team name is Nora's Parents. I don't know if anybody who's listening knows who that is.
They're pretty fit.
Gabby and Dylan, sort of fit, little fit. They showed up, and like they didn't really practice. They just kind of waltzed into Charleston and said, hey, let's do this thing. Yeah. And they finished 7th out of 57 teams.
Yeah.
Like, and they smoked some of those events. I mean, just smoked them.
That clean and jerk event was incredible to watch them.
It was ridiculous. And the two of them just, wow. And Gabby's back in form. Like, she is crushing it right now.
Yeah.
But
I was
the two
telling
of them,
her the past couple months of watching her and her fitness after having Nora has been really cool to watch, especially as someone who's like, you know, 6 months behind her roughly. It's like, yeah, look what we moms can do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So you're chomping at the bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like,
6 months out, that's what I'm going to be doing.
Back to life, you know?
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
But she did awesome. And then watching her and Dylan do that together, and then watching Nora, Gabby's parents were there watching Nora for them, and she got to see mom and dad do their thing, and that was just
that was really cool. We got some cool pictures of her watching her parents. It was really cool.
Yeah.
And then we had 2 other teams that competed. The Bogey Boys, Mike and Kyle, competed their first time ever in a CrossFit competition like that, a really
Yeah.
big regional event. Competed in the novice division and did well. And then myself and Jordan, we competed. That was our 4th year in a row competing. And I'm here to tell you, all 4 years we were a backfill. So we didn't actually qualify any of those 4 years. So we sort of backfilled in, but we also didn't finish last any of those 4 years. So we sort of came in last and then finished higher than last. So it was good. It's just a great event. I think it's one of the best run sort of regional CrossFit events that I've been to. And I really appreciate what those guys do. It's a lot of fun. And I appreciate that so much of our community, makes the trip. People bring their families. It's a really good time. So I'm looking forward to October is when the qualifier is. So October, it's a good time of year to just sort of push yourself a little bit and see what happens. I think the qualifier is like $30. It's not overly expensive.
Yeah. And it's cool because it's like, we're about to, we're working through the open right now, right? But it's on the other end of the year of that. So it's kind of a cool time for the gym to come together and do something when it feels like the open's still really far away. And it's like another little check-in. It feels fun.
And the open gym on Saturday and Sunday are just they're hopping during that qualifier. There's a lot of people in here trying to get their tests done. So it's cool. It's a lot of fun.
Blind leaderboard too for that one, which I like a lot.
Yeah.
It's fun.
That's fun. It's a good check-in, as you said.
Yeah.
The other thing I would just give a shout out to Fittest of the Coast. You think about the number of judges and volunteers that they have to pull together for that. I mean, you think about what we go through trying to make sure we have enough judges for the open, just 100 members. They have thousands of people in there. The volunteers and judges just do a great job at Fittest of the Coast. So hats off to them.
And a little shout out, this year we had our very own Kiara Huerta, who went with us to photograph a bunch of our athletes. So that was really cool because normally they have like a photo package you can get as part of Fittest of the Coast, but they didn't have that this year. And so, one of the very people who produced this podcast got to go and gave, just insanely high quality content for our athletes and our gym, which is part of what I feel like reflects DoD is just everything we do is high quality.
That's right.
That was awesome.
That's right.
Yeah.
Some great photography there for sure. All right. So second topic I had sketched out here was we got a question from a member about why did we switch to training think tanks programming? What was the thought process behind choosing that program?
I love this question. First of all, I love that our members are asking these questions, and because there should be a really good reason, right? If we're gonna change up our programming, I believe there should be great thought behind the programming that we do. So I love this. We had been with the programming we were following for quite some time, and there were a lot of good things about it. I think one of the things I loved about it was there was a lot of variety kind of throughout the programming. All of our members felt like they were getting a lot stronger with that programming, so that was good. But some of the stuff that I felt like was missing was a balance, or I guess the main thing that I thought was missing was a balance between all three kind of main buckets that we want to see in good CrossFit programming. So we have this like monostructural or what I tell the general public, like a cardio bucket, right? Gymnastics bucket, and then a, weightlifting, strength training, however you want to call that, load bearing bucket, right? And I felt like we weren't seeing as much pure gymnastics work, skill, ability to just train skills outside of Metcons that really in true CrossFit programming you would see, right? If you look at CrossFit.com or you look at CAPS programming, there's often times where you can train skills, or where you would just maybe have just a pure lift, or where the Metcon is short enough that you can really coach skills outside of that. And that's something you and I have talked about, a lot. It's like where we don't have this over programming in class to where there's no ability to coach anymore, right? And so that was something I was looking for in, and really I didn't know if it was training think tank, right? I was just kind of grocery shopping, like, this is what we want for our gym. Does that exist outside of programming it ourselves, And I thought, from what I had seen from them for a long time and what they're about, that they might do a good job of that. I talked with Mike McGoldrick there, who is in charge of a lot of their programming. I talked with him really honestly about what we were looking for, and he gave me just a lot of honest feedback about what they do. So that was one of the reasons why. Another reason why was I felt like with our member group that maybe what we were doing was a little over programmed, a little too much volume for the goals of the majority of our members, right? If we go back to our very first podcast, it's like, how much volume is appropriate for the majority of CrossFitters? And I think some of the programming now that you can get mainstream is actually geared towards competitive athletes, people who are doing these major competitions often, and that's their goal, is to place in these major competitions. But that's not the majority of our athletes. And even if that is your goal, that doesn't mean you need to be training super high volume every day of the week, multiple pieces, right? Like, true CrossFit is not more is more, right? True CrossFit is, no, let's bring high intensity to this piece, like 5 days a week, and let's let that intensity speak for itself. Let's let that intensity really matter. And I just felt like some of the intensity for our members was starting to fall because there was too much volume.
Just trying to get through it.
Yeah.
They're just trying to get through it.
It's like you have this crazy lifting volume and then this crazy Metcon, and we weren't really able to bring our best to both of those things. I felt like there was a lot more fatigue, like global fatigue than needed to happen. So again, that was another conversation I had with Mike. And I think that I've heard from a lot of members so far, and I've been very pleased so far. I think that balance has been really good so far. It's trending that like Thursdays are a really, really great day for our members to come in here and move and recover, but still, check off their committed club and get their sticker. And then we have a lot of skill practice time, still lift a ton. I've loved their open prep. It's been really intentional and really good. So without getting too much in the weeds, that's kind of the reason. And I think I've been very, very happy. Actually, I saw them at Fittest to the Coast. We talked a little bit about how it's going and just some feedback both ways, because they, I think, really want to listen to their affiliates, which is another thing I love too. You know?
That's important because, we're going to constantly be evaluating it, right?
It's what's best for DoD and our members.
Yeah,
right?
so we'll keep an eye on it. And I love the thoughtfulness with which you approached it.
Yeah.
We had a lot of conversations about it. I think we did it for the right reasons, making the switch. I love that our members caught on immediately and they're like, hey, what's up here? Which is just great. The fitness IQ is very high at Doors of Daring. For me, just as an athlete who comes in here 5 a.m, sometimes 6, I love the presence of some pure gymnastics skill work before a Metcon.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we're just going to do this, and there's no front squat, no back squat, no deadlift. We're just going to do some gymnastics skill work. We've got drills specifically
Yeah.
allocated, part A, part B. We're going to do some drills, and then we're going to do a Metcon.
Yeah.
I just love that, right? We weren't seeing a lot of that in our prior programming, if ever.
I think that's missing in a lot of CrossFit programming because the lifting work is really attractive, right?
Yeah.
It's like, and it's something a lot of people need work on, rightly so, right?
Yeah.
But in nowhere in the CrossFit methodology does it prescribe these heavy lifts every day of the week on top of a Metcon, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to find that in the methodology. And that's for a reason, right? Because it's not meant to be paired with that super high intensity all the time.
Yeah.
Like this week coming up, we have the skill breakdown is rowing skill work, right?
Awesome.
Like what does it look like to row efficiently? How should we be moving that machine well? And I love that, because it gives our coaches, we're going to talk about this in a second, it gives our coaches an opportunity to really, really take their time coaching members, giving them cues before they then go put that into practice.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I've enjoyed the switch so far.
It's cool.
The other thing I'd point out is, and you can go back and look at it and do some math on it. I certainly haven't, but just my feeling is that we're getting less load when we lift. So it's just the percentages aren't quite as high and the reps aren't quite as high. It's just a little bit lower. It's a little bit more reasonable. So you're not having to make that choice that we shouldn't have to make, right? Am I going to lift heavy or hit the Metcon hard, right? You shouldn't have to make that. So it's a moderate load that you can get through those sets and reps and then bring intensity to the Metcon as well.
Yeah. And what you see in CrossFit is you still get stronger.
Yeah,
right.
sure.
And I tell people this all the time. My background in lifting before CrossFit was the more traditional, 5x5 with, like longer breaks and all this stuff, right? No Metcons, no, none of that. And I got stronger. I did, right? And then I came to CrossFit and I did less lifting load, right? Less percentage work and more lifting under heart rate, higher heart rate, all this kind of stuff, more moving my body weight around, more all those things. And I am exponentially stronger with this style of training than I was then, right? Yeah. There is a beauty in that. People say, oh, CrossFit doesn't make you strong, whatever. Well, that's a lie for a lot of people, Yeah. Now, at the very, 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 very top of that group, absolutely, right? If you want to be an Olympic power lifter, whatever. But for the majority of us, like you're going to get freaking strong doing moderate loads, moderate volume, and some really good Metcons.
70 to 80%, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to tear it down all the time.
Exactly. Yeah. And we saw that when we did the CrossFit Total, because now we've been doing it long enough where we followed that program and we did the CrossFit Total. And I think almost everyone, PR.
The whole board was filled with PR, so it was crazy.
Yeah.
After that day, it was nuts. The whole board was
so
filled.
cool.
Yeah.
So cool to see. So
it's good. Anything more on the programming?
No, I think I would just encourage our members and our athletes, if you have any questions or if you're seeing things or experiencing things, please come talk to me about that. Let me know. And so I can address your questions, your concerns. And I know those are things that Mike at Train Think Tank loves to hear too. They're always like, hey, give us feedback. How is this going for members? So I just encourage that. Keep the conversation going.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. And it's a little distraction in the background, like it's real world, man. We got 212 meal prep, dropping off people's meals. So, order some 212 meals. Thanks, man. Appreciate you. Have a good rest of your night.
Yes, amazing. Those are actually delicious.
I order them every week, man. They're really good. I mean, it beats fast food any day, right? It's way better for you. The ingredients are better. Just put it in the microwave for 2.5 minutes. You're good to go.
That's what I ate when we were at Fittest of the Coast.
Yeah,
they had a booth at Fittest of the Coast, and I had
me too.
for their meals.
That's pretty clean, and
Yeah.
you know exactly what you're getting.
was awesome.
Those guys do a great job. Jeffrey, if you don't know Jeffrey Jensen, he's one of the founders.
Yeah.
Look him up online and see his story, his fitness story. Wow.
Cool.
What an amazing
And
guy.
local too.
Yeah, Myrtle Beach.
Cool.
All right, so let's maybe take a break just for a minute before we get into our next question, which was also from a member. Just talk maybe a little bit about the month of March here at Doors of Daring. So obviously we've just started the CrossFit Open. The next 2 weeks in March, we'll continue with Friday Night Lights on March 6th and March 13th. And then Saturday, March 21st, mark your calendars. That'll be a big day here in the gym, and we will have Small Business Saturday here at DoD. And so all the members that are small business owners will set up tables and you can walk around and eat a little bit of food and learn about people's businesses and how they can help you with, your taxes or your photography needs or your real estate needs, whatever. So Small Business Saturday, the 21st of March, mark your calendar. It'll be a fun day. And then right away, right after that, believe it or not, starting the last week of March, the 26th of March, is the quarterfinals for the CrossFit Games. Just right after the end of the Open, we'll get right on it for those of you who are going to qualify for the quarterfinals. Probably, I didn't say us. I said those of you who are going to qualify. So right, end of March, we'll get into that quarterfinals, and semifinals will be right around the corner after that. So that's our March. Did I miss anything?
I don't think so.
Okay.
That's a lot.
Cool. Well, the next question we had came from one of our members, and it is really about continuing education for our coaches. The question exactly was, how are the coaches continuing their education and helping other coaches learn and grow? If you don't mind, maybe I'll just take a crack at this because I have a little bit of praise to hand out here. Courtney's been very quiet about this. Many people don't know. She just passed her L3 exam. Yeah. So Courtney is now a CrossFit level 3 trainer.
Yeah, certified. You can say that.
Awesome accomplishment. Yeah. Awesome.
Thanks,
Courtney decided to take this on. When did you just make this decision to do this?
Like about a year ago, I mean, this is something that's always been kind of on my radar because I'm just a forever student kind of person. I'm just always trying to improve. But about a year ago, I was pregnant. So fitness goals were kind of like put on pause. But I'm just such a goal-driven person. Like I need a goal. So I was like, okay, maybe this is the time to set my L3 goal. And unrealistically, I was like, man, when I have this baby, and I'm out from coaching for a while, I have all this time when I can study. But I, at that point, I had then 3 kids. And so I didn't have a lot of time to study. But it's about a year ago. And then I didn't actually sign up for my test until the new year.
With a newborn.
Yeah. And at that point, Shiloh's 3.5, 4 months old. And I'm like, oh, I got to take this test. But I think the cool thing at that point was the more I had kind of talked to people about it, the more it was like, hey, if you're deeply entrenched in this stuff day in and day out, and this is what you live, right? And you walk this and you talk this, and, even if you haven't gotten to study as much as you wanted to or whatever, the test tests your knowledge and you're really are you living this? And so I was like, you know what? I am living this. This is my passion. This is what I nerd out on day in and day out. So the way I studied, I got this app on my phone, that turns PDFs into audio,
Nice.
And I'm driving my kids around or I'm feeding the baby or whatever. And I'm just listening to CrossFit material. And that's really how I got to study. Erica watched Shiloh one time for me so I could make some flashcards the day before the test.
Flashcards.
Which was awesome.
Old school. That's old school.
I know. But no, it was so fun. And the reason I set that goal, Jim, was because I just wanted to do something for me, like, and really like for our gym and for our members. But I think, we all set fitness goals or whatever. And it's like, this goal is for me. And I can't really set a lot of like physical goals right now because my body is recovering still. And just that takes priority. But I could set a goal, just like a knowledge achievement goal for me.
Yeah. What an achievement too.
Yeah. So.
I mean, with a newborn, taking the test, passing it.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is how you know, like, newborn mom, because my sister came and watched Shiloh for me, and the test, you get 4 hours to take it. It's like a lot of questions. And I was like, oh, driving there plus the test, that's 5 hours of silence, of like no interruptions, no screaming, no, just silence. And I get to just nerd out on what I love. And like that, for a new mom, that's like a treat, It didn't feel like a burden. It was like a getaway.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, congratulations.
I cried and I hugged the proctor guy when he told me I passed. So that was fun.
I'm sure that wasn't expected.
No, he was like,
why are you hugging me?
But that was
congratulations.
Fun, so.
That's an awesome achievement.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks.
Really well done. Yeah. I want to take a moment too to congratulate Katie, Coach Katie, and Coach Jake, who both got their L2s in February.
Yeah,
so in February,
just a couple weeks ago.
In February, we had a lot of coaches level up.
That's awesome.
In February.
Yeah.
And then just maybe really quickly, maybe people don't know, we had 3 other coaches get their L2s in 2025.
Yep.
CrossFit actually bent my arm, forced me to get my L2.
Yeah, so he went and did it.
And so I got that done. And then David Hederman and Drew Bigham did not get forced to do it. And they opted in to get their L2s. So we've had a lot of leveling up just in the last, 12 months.
Yeah. And the cool part about the L2, if you don't know, is that it's really like a hands-on coaching intensive. So unlike like the L3 is just a test that you go sit for, the L2 is you're in small groups with a level 4 directly from CrossFit, and they are critiquing your coaching. You are coaching other coaches through movements, and you're learning from them. And it's an intense couple of days. Really hands-on. That's my favorite credential so far, and so that's huge for all of our coaches. And it gives us a really common place when we meet as a coaching staff, as we do every single Friday, a really common like language and place to go from there of like, hey, we all know this is the standard for coaching, right? This is what excellent coaching looks like. We've seen it from CrossFit. We've all gotten great feedback on that. This is what we're working towards at all times, right?
And I joke, really cool. About CrossFit making me do it, but I got a lot out of it, and I rarely coach here, but I got a lot out of it. And I know that Katie did as well. And Jake, I think that might've been Jake's second L2 that he took. And I know David and Drew got a lot out of theirs. It's, like you said, it's real world. You're in small groups and you're coaching. For me, it was very intimidating because I'm coaching coaches who have coached for 5, 6, 10 years. And I'm like a, once a month coach, maybe. Right. And I'm just like doing my best, but getting great feedback from amazing coaches and just learning how to break down the movements and really focus on one thing at a time. I agree with you. That's a great credential. Yeah. I'm looking forward to taking it again, actually.
Yeah. And I think the cool part, like just talking about coaches development, right? Something that we've taken from that at DoD is, we implement in small ways when we meet every Friday, small little coaches development things we're trying to work on, whether that's the way that we speak about a movement or the way that we demonstrate or whether we focus on helping higher level athletes or beginners. But another thing that we're hoping to implement really soon is these small group breakouts, maybe once a quarter, where we get some athletes in here, almost just like an L2, right? And where coaches are coaching these athletes, but only for the intention of we're giving coaches feedback, right?
Right.
So the snow kind of got in the way of our first one, but the intent is like, all right, you're going to teach this person how to do a push jerk from start to finish, base level progression all the way until they're moving a barbell. How are you going to do this? Let me give you some feedback on how you're doing that.
Yeah.
What are some strengths? What are some weaknesses? Because one thing we really pride ourselves on is, our athletes come in here not just for the community, not just for the equipment, but because they want to be coached to do these things well. Because they want strategy on workouts. They want great scaling options. They want all of the above. And so our job as coaches is to make sure that we're always getting better at that, giving them a service that is well worth their time, their money, their experience,
Yeah. And I love that idea of people are paying for coaches to help them do the movement well,
Yes.
right? Set the standard, do the movement well. I think that brings us really well into our last topic that we wanted to cover, which really is the standards. The Open is the time of year where the standards really become a big topic. In CrossFit, there's a lot of things going on the gram and in other places right now about the standards, and we won't ignite any of that drama.
We don't need to call out other sports.
When we think about the standards,
what are we talking about when we say standard?
When we think about the standards, you and I have had this conversation many times, and we obviously subscribe to this idea that the standards don't only show up in February every year. The standards are the standards.
We squat below parallel every single time.
We teach the standards. We ask our athletes to adhere to the standards at all times, all of our coaches consistently. And it's really an important part of our community. So I think, you and I agreed that it'd be good to tackle this topic today. I wonder if maybe you want to start us off with some thoughts about, why is it really important for us to have standards and to hold our members and our coaches to those standards?
So the first thing that comes to mind is, 26.1 was a ton of wall balls and we got to squat to depth, right? But it's like, why does CrossFit want us to squat to depth? And, it goes back to, we do functional movements, right? And in life, you're not going to just stay above parallel as you're living your day-to-day life, right? There are moments where you're going to have to work in your garden and squat below parallel, or, whatever those things might be. And so at the most basic level of the methodology, it's like we have these kind of firm, some might even argue difficult, hard standards because they matter for functional movement, right? It matters that you lock out your elbows at the top of a press because we want that range of motion for our athletes in their daily life. I don't want you just getting strong here. You can never straighten your arm to get stuff out of the attic or whatever, right? And so that's the basic level. I think another piece of that is in data tracking, right, with CrossFit. So we track data in CrossFit because we want to see ourselves getting fitter. We want to see that the methodology is working. There's, this joke in a lot of, kind of the older CrossFit literature and paperwork, but it's like, if rollerblading around a room proves in the data to get us fitter, well, then we'll program it, right? It's like, what we do functional movements that make people fitter. But if we are not adhering to the movement standard, then who's to say that's getting us fitter, right? Who's to say, if we're just doing half reps, right? Who's to say that's getting fitter? And also, you're only doing half the work, right? And so the literal load on your body is half as much. If you're not squatting to depth, you're doing half the work, you're not getting fitter, right? And so your score might look better, you might look faster, but you're actually less fit now, less strong than the person who was squatting to full depth because they had to move that load further right? And so there's a lot of pieces there in the why it matters so much. I think, in a competition setting, people always go to like, well, you have to hit the standard because if you don't, it's cheating, right?
Right.
And of course, that's true. But the real reasons behind that are like, you don't want to cheat yourself of the results that happen when you're hitting those standards, right? Those standards are where they are because that gives you the best results, proven time and time and time again. So that's why we're crazy about it in our gym, because we want to see you get fitter, and because the culture of our gym is like, we do everything well, right?
Yeah.
We want to treat our equipment well. We want to do this podcast to high quality. We want to coach to high quality, and we are going to move high quality as well, right? We're going to parent high quality. We're going to do all these things high quality. It just bleeds over into life, right? So what we kind of believe there. Yeah.
I mean, for me, it comes back to when you just peel back some of the layers of it. How do you decide when the rep is good? You have to pick a place, right?
Yeah, you have to.
And CrossFit said, okay, hips below the level of the knee, right?
Yeah.
That's when the rep is good on the squat, right? The ball hits above the 10-foot mark, right? That's a good rep, right? Those two things are required.
They're
right?
required,
So you just have to pick a point, and it's not a good rep unless those two things are met, right? And those points of performance are important, right? And so CrossFit could have said, well, at parallel, right? The hip is at the level of the knee. I think many people would have struggled with judging that over the many, many years of CrossFit. It's very difficult to see it's exactly at parallel. So, some of these things are just, when is a rep? Right? And when do you count it? And then for me, once you get that and you say, okay, when is a rep? Got that, check. Now it's, how do I want to show up for me?
An integrity piece.
Right? How do I want to show up for me? I think I shared with you before that before CrossFit, I did like the Beachbody stuff, like the P90X stuff with Tony Horton. And, shout out to Tony. Tony had this thing he used to say, I can't remember if it was during chest and back. I think it was.
And back.
You'd be writing that. He'd say, write down what you did. And he'd turn to the camera and go, how do you know what to do if you don't know what you did? And so he'd have you, write down your reps and your weight. And it was true. Like, I don't know what to do next week in chest and back if I don't know. But here's the other thing. If I write down 12 reps and I only did 11, I'm just cheating myself. I'm just setting the mark higher than I can meet next week.
Your next workout, you're going to feel like a failure because you didn't get to however many, but that was a lie all along.
Right? So when I think about integrity, that's what I'm thinking about. It's not like, well, I'm Johnny Honest and I got this drone of integrity following me around all the time. It's just, hey, the whole thing is you're tracking your score so you can figure out if you're getting fitter, faster, stronger. So don't lie to yourself. Right?
You want that data to be accurate data.
You're going to step on the scale and go, well, that clearly says I'm only 150. I mean, when it's a lot more, like, why would you do that? It's the same principle for me. But then so that's one, right? When's a rep? What does it mean to you, right? How are you helping or hurting yourself? And then the third thing for me is really, how are you showing up for the people around you? Right? When we're here and we're working out here, this rings really true for you and me because, we're the owners of this place and people definitely look up to us in different ways. People look up to you a lot for your athleticism. Nobody looks up to me for my athleticism.
Whatever, Jim.
But there's always
He's super fit, man.
There's always someone watching you. Right? It could be, remember in last month's podcast, we talked to Rick Quick and he talked about Jim Toomey is his rabbit. Right? Jim Toomey's the guy he's trying to beat. Every time he comes in here, he looks for Jim Toomey's score. He asks Jim how he did the workout. And I told the story about how my early days of CrossFit, I was this other dude's rabbit. Like he would chase my score. I was 41 years old. I had just started CrossFit. I wasn't any kind of fit. but this guy was trying to pace himself off of me.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a fire breather to set a good example for someone else. And if you're someone else's rabbit and you're lying about your time or your reps or your weight, like, I don't know how people want to do that. Like, show up, be true to what you actually did, put it on the board, and go home and have a good day.
Exactly. You know? Yeah. And I think too, like, it goes back to, I think, you know, in every gym, there's probably some of this sometimes, like, so-and-so, or, you know, whatever. And it goes back to, like, I love that we have these tape lines on the floor sometimes, because that old verbiage of just like stay in your lane and do the work, right? And it goes back to that on both sides, right? So when you're the athlete, like, don't try to compare yourself to someone else and you feel like you have to fabricate your numbers, because if you don't, then you won't seem as fit as someone else, right? Like, no one cares. Just stay in your lane. You're going to be so much more proud of what you're able to accomplish when it's actually what you accomplish and it's inside this lane and you're so proud of it, right? And then if I'm the person next to that, it's like, they did awesome, cool. You know what I'm more concerned with? What happened in my lane, what I just did, the work that I just put in, which is incredible, right? When I go home tonight, I'm not thinking about any other lanes. I'm thinking about my lane. I think it's a perfect example, like on 26.1, like, I did really well on this workout, and I still kind of want to redo it just because it's super fun. But there's it's not because of like any other lanes, right? It's because in my lane, I'm like, could I have done this better? Could I have done, you know, like, maybe I could do this better.
You versus you.
Yes, it's me versus me, right? And there's so much freedom in that, right? If you're so busy comparing yourself to other people all the time, man, that's exhausting, right? Yeah. And I think that's what leads to some of the dishonesty or whatever. Sometimes it's not like that people are trying to be like terrible people or whatever. It's they feel this pressure to like compare to someone else. And it's not, man, that's so heavy. Let that go. Be proud of what you're able to accomplish. Let the data reflect the true data. Hit those standards and like, you know, be super proud that, man, like I move well and I move to these standards and look how far I've come, you know. And
let's be honest too, right? People flake out.
Yeah.
People flake out and miss reps. Like it happens to the best of us. People flake out. They're like, oh, that was 18. Oh, it's 19. People flake out all the time. They'll jump ahead to another movement and they've only finished half of the work. Yeah. And, you know, sometimes you just call them on, hey, are you sure you're done with that? Yeah, like, are you sure? Like
me the other day, because the handstand walks is like confusing rep scheme. And I was like, y'all sure? And they were like, oh, shoot, you're right. And jump back into it.
So sometimes it's totally innocent. Like, and if we all get caught up in what everybody else is doing, and you don't assume positive intent, then, you know, things get not so healthy, right? So it's just, hey.
Well, and let's talk about like any positive community or family or whatever, right? If some of that is like, it's okay to be like, hey man, like, you know, and like, I know with Lance, if I was like, babe, we were doing synchro, I think you were like too short, he'd be like, oh shoot, let me go do 2 more. You know what I mean? That's part of having great relationships in a good community. Like it doesn't have to be this like big deal thing. Yeah. You know?
I mean, we all work hard in here. We all want to be proud of our effort. And I think, you know, just really, like you said, staying in your lane is very important. If you have someone that you're really fixated on competing with, make sure that it stays healthy and you're not just like
if you have a rabbit, right? Yeah. Like, the point is, I hope that rabbit does amazing, right? And then I'm going to chase them.
And it inspires me, right? And it's supposed to inspire you to run harder, jump higher, right? All of that.
That was, I mean, Gabby and Katie, because we kind of, Gabby's murdering us on every workout now, but on a lot of workouts it's like fun to, you know, go back and forth. And the other day we had like shuttle runs, lightweight thrusters, and toes to bar, and I knew like there's no way I can hang with these ladies, none, right? But I went at 6:30 and it was fun to chase that pace. I mean, I still got buried. They beat me by like a minute and a half, but it was fun to chase that pace. I'm not I'm not like cutting shuttle runs or thrusters to try to like be on their time. I'm still putting the work in. You know, my score is going to be my honest score, but it's still fun to chase them. And at the end of the day, I give Katie a high five because her toes to bar are beautiful, you know?
Yeah.
So
That's what it's all about. Just
Yeah.
come in, have fun, write down your score with integrity.
Yeah.
You know, try to race somebody if you can, and high
Yeah.
fives at the end, and go home and enjoy the rest of your day. That's
Yeah.
really it.
And it's part of what makes CrossFit really special. Like people want to come in here and they like the competitive side of things, right? And if that's not done the way we're talking about it right now, like it's just kind of takes the fun out of it, right?
Yeah.
So like keep that the special part of CrossFit,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. And you know, the other piece about the open, just bring it sort of
Yes.
back, standards
back
in
to
the open.
Yeah.
The other thing that the open brings that not a lot of members get to experience any other time of year is this idea that now you have a judge.
Yeah,
you know,
you have
like
a
I talked
judge,
about earlier, like, okay, here I am, I'm judging you.
Jim judges me during quarterfinals sometimes because I know we gonna be on it. Yeah.
So that, you know, and that can be stressful. It can be stressful for the athlete who's being judged. It can be stressful for the judge because nobody wants to no rep.
I
You know, anyone in here, nobody wants to say.
I didn't know rep Lance the other day.
Yeah, yeah.
He's stepping over the box. I'm only 1 foot on the box.
He might have mentioned that
hit
today.
him.
He might have mentioned it.
He knew it. He kept going. He knew I no rep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, so it can be stressful both ways. But,
Yeah.
you know, that's a time for us all to really, you know, focus on, can we see the standard? Can we meet the standard? Okay, then we're creating this fair community where everybody's working really hard to meet the standards.
Yeah.
Right? Anything more on standards think we need to talk about?
No, I just love that CrossFit has kind of made that part of their mission more recently. Like, this is one of the things that separates us from other places. You know, there's a lot of gyms you can go to where it's like you can move how you want to move and no one's going to care. But we care about doing things at a really high level in a way that is truly going to make you fitter and healthier and stronger and more mobile and all the things. So it comes back to like, if you want to see really incredible results, like there's a reason why you walk into a CrossFit gym to see those really incredible results.
Yeah.
And it comes back to these standards, right?
Yeah.
It's like you can go wherever and move however and maybe see results or maybe not, but you can come here and move really freaking well and see really good results.
So you think that had anything to do with them choosing wall balls for 26.1? Maybe.
Yeah. And
as a
dude, I'm
message?
telling you, our members squat to death. Yeah. They squat to death. Yeah. And I want to give a shout out because this is a great just member spotlight. So Rick Winook is, you know, one of our members. He wouldn't mind me saying this, right? Like he's a little bit older. His son comes to our gym, his, you know, adult son, and he's tall, lanky dude. And when he first came in here, you know, probably could do a quarter squat, if that, right? Nowhere close to squatting to depth. And it's, you know, now been, I don't know, maybe 2 years that Rick's been coming. And not only they just got back from a ski trip where for 3 days straight, they skied for 7 hours on the mountain, and he was raving because he's like, Coach, I'm in this amazing shape. I can ski for 7 hours straight down hard, you know, courses, and I'm healthy enough to do that without injuring myself. But then he comes in here today, does 26.1, squatting to depth, below parallel, no lifters on. No, he's got his regular CrossFit shoes on, squatting to depth with a 20-pound ball, hitting the target in his H division. And you know, Alec, his son, and I were just like, look at this. And that's been just the past 2 years of him believing in the method, trusting the process, and it works. You know, it works. And that's so functional for his life, and that's why it matters. You know?
Shout out, Rick. Shout out.
Rick, we're so proud of you.
That was great. I watched that today too. And, you know, I was doing my rounds and checking everybody's squat depth and He was doing great.
He's killing it.
That was really good. Very
was awesome.
inspiring. All right. Well,
Awesome.
Courtney, thanks again. Another one in the books.
Good one down.
Thank you to everybody for listening and watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Click all the buttons, all the things. We'll be back in another month with another podcast, but that's all for now. Thanks.
See you guys.